reaction to Harrison Butker's graduation speech has been insane, and this is why there was such wailing and gnashing of teeth. I am Jamie Bambrick, editor of Clear Truth Media, and for those who don't know what happened last week, maybe don't know what a Harrison Butker is, we give like a lightning fast breakdown. Harrison Butker is the kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs, and he is one of the best in the business. The NFL will demonetize me if I show any footage, but just trust me. He's not only an absolute Chad, but when I tweeted about this, I made the joke of him being actually called Harrison Buttkicker, thinking that I was being unique and original, before I realised that he actually had it as his Twitter handle and had been using it as his nickname for some time. So he's also hilarious. And oh yeah, the point of this video, now that we're talking about this absolute dreamboat, is that he is a committed Catholic. Now, I've done videos on this channel before about Catholicism, not a Catholic, disagree strongly with many points of Catholic doctrine, but this is not that kind of video. This is an area on which we with the Catholic Church would be in broad agreement, and he said something that I think needs to be said more often, and not just by professional athletes with impeccable facial hair, but by pastors, leaders and Christians more broadly, because it takes on one of the great lies and one of the great idols of our age. He, a Catholic, was invited to give a speech at a Catholic university in which he said Catholic things, and other people, non-Catholics, were horrified that he did so. Now, he did hit on plenty of controversial topics, not at great length, but he did talk about abortion, vaccine mandates, even Pride Month, so all of those could get him in some degree of trouble. But the thing that went most viral and perhaps caused most kickback was in the following clip where he talked about his wife. Trigger warning for any young children that are listening if you haven't aborted them already, which if you're on the left you probably have. Please cover their ears, here we go.
For the ladies present today, congratulations on an amazing accomplishment. You should be proud of all that you have achieved to this point in your young lives. I want to speak directly to you briefly because I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now about to cross this stage and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world. I can tell you that my beautiful wife, Isabel, would be the first to say that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and as a mother. I'm on this stage today and able to be the man I am because I have a wife who leans into her vocation. I'm beyond blessed with the many talents God has given me, but it cannot be overstated that all of my success is made possible because a girl I met in band class back in middle school would convert to the faith, become my wife, and embrace one of the most important titles of all, homemaker.
Now, obviously, this is horrific, right? How dare any man, despite himself having an incredible career and referring to his number one vocation as being a father and a husband, talk about his wife's vocation as being a mother and a wife. How dare they follow their religion and like doing so and advocate for doing so? How dare he earn enough that his wife can not work and do the thing that she actually wants to do, namely raise their children? How dare she even want that? And that bit, here's my take anyway, where he is crying. He's not crying. He is stifling an evil, maniacal, misogynistic laugh. But on a more serious note, this is an utterly standard proclamation of beliefs that would have been accepted by pretty much everybody without batting an eye across the entire globe until about the last 30 years, where we've now seen that this produces an incredible reaction. Now, bear in mind that when it comes to the NFL, this is a league replete with people who've committed sexual crimes, violent crimes, said heinous things in public, and yet it's this guy, the family man, who gets a petition signed by 200,000 people to have him fired. It's this man that the league came out and said, we don't back what he has said. And it's also this man who managed to get one of the former Chiefs cheerleaders to go on the internet and try and win a prize for being the most obnoxious person in human history.
Hey Harrison, you know, we have several things in common. First and foremost, until a few months ago, we were both employed by the Kansas City Chiefs. I cheered you on for 6 years straight. And with that, I would assume we went to the same PR training. But since all of that obviously left your brain when you went to go give that speech, I thought I'd be a good coworker. Share my notes.
Now, there's something about this reaction over this particular issue that is very telling. Douglas Wilson has famously said that if you're taking flak, it's likely because you're hovering over the target. That's true in warfare, it's true in this area as well. If you're getting a massive reaction for saying something that is ultimately very true and reasonable, you're likely touching on something that is very important to the enemy and his camp. And for me, I've actually shifted on this issue a little bit over the last year or so. You know, if you'd asked me a few years back what I considered the biggest cultural threats be to Christianity, to the Western world, I would have probably said number 1, alphabet soup people. That's still right up there, by the way. Number 2 would have said critical race theory. Number 3 would have probably put free speech. Maybe not in that exact order, but those would have been my top ones. I would have agreed that feminism is a problem. I would have said that feminism is linked, but I'd have probably put it on the second tier of threats facing the church. That's because technically you can be a bit of a feminist and a Christian. Some Christians are actually quite big feminists. I don't think they fully understand what they're supporting there. But quite frankly, I have now shifted to the point that I view this as a top tier issue, one of the biggest threats facing the church, because it's actually foundational to those other issues. Feminism was the first issue. It was the foot in the door when it came to advancing these other issues. It was the first movement in that direction. And it brings all of these affiliated ideologies with it. And why is this such a big issue? Well, I've made this point before in previous videos, but it bears repeating. If you look in Genesis 1 at how God made the world, he sets it all up in a binary fashion. So you have creator, creation, you have light, you have dark, you've got sun, you've got moon, you've got land, you've got sea, fish, birds, animal, human, male and female, and all of that is designed to point us back to the ultimate distinction between God and ourselves. Binary is encoded into the entire universe. But you look at Satan and you look at his activity, well, how does he become Satan? He becomes Satan because he says, I want to be like God. He wants to erase that binary. Similarly, he tempts Eve with the same thing. You can be like God. He wants to erase that binary. He is attacking the distinction between God and us. And so all of Satan's attacks seem to be in some way, and I'm not the one who came up with this, Peter Jones did, but they seem to be in some way about the erasure of the binary that we see encoded into our world. And feminism is all about doing this. There is no male, there is no female. It is all about erasing that distinction. Now, there have been times when we've got that wrong. There have been places and societies that have been misogynistic, and in fact, they do still exist today. But just because something can be done incorrectly doesn't mean that the whole idea is itself wrong. And yet, look at where we've got to as a society. People would have said in every culture across the earth that for women, raising a family and having children is pretty much their highest vocation. This is literally wired into their bodies. They live with that every month. The baby's food, without meaning to be crude, is strapped to their chest. And we see even today that statistically, women who are married and have children are in fact happier, almost twice as happy as single and childless women. And yet what they are being told is that sacrificing your time for your family, for your children, that's slavery, but doing so for a boss, that's freedom. And yet this is the opposite of what most women actually want. And let's check out just how happy feminists are. Here is a video of them expressing their true joy, and this is real, I might add, in a rage ritual. As I said, yes, That is totally real and apparently cost $4,000 to go out into the woods and scream. A price I would be happy to pay to remove these insane broads from our society for a couple of days. Now, none of that is to say that women can't be productive, that they can't work in some fashion, that they can't add economic value to their homes. Of course they can. Throughout history, this has always been the case. But there are significant benefits, and we should recognize them, for women in living with this orientation towards their family and towards their children. Firstly, they get among the most meaningful and satisfying careers that can possibly be done. Rather than merely shaping an economy, rather than merely shaping a business, they're shaping human souls. All of their work is literally eternal. They are also fighting the culture war. They are shaping the nation by shaping the future generations of that nation. And literally the entire future of the human race rests in the hands of women who are willing to be mothers. If they don't, we die out within a single generation. We are in the midst of a depopulation crisis, and that is because women have been convinced that this is not an important part of who they are or who they are called to be. In a society that denigrates women, that denigrates motherhood, that denigrates family, it is essential that we honour and respect women for doing this, for the gift that it is. Harrison Butker did that. He was absolutely right to do that, and it should be said more often, even if it means making people mad on the internet. Now, small silver lining to this, his jerseys did sell out, best-selling jersey in the NFL this week, and he's a kicker, so well done to him. People have recognised that what he has said is true. And I'll leave you with this final thought. There's another Kansas City player who is incredibly well known, Travis Kelce, aka Taylor Swift's boyfriend. He seems like a nice guy. Doesn't really seem like he's sort of taking that level of responsibility for anybody else. He's not so much of a family man. Also sold out to Pfizer to be in one of their commercials. So let me give you this one thought. In a world of Travis Kelce's, be a Harrison Butker. If you like that video, please like the video. Don't smash it. Just tap the like button in a normal human fashion. It works just the same. YouTube, subscribe, Twitter, follow, retweet, Instagram. I don't know what you do on Instagram. Follow on Instagram. I don't use Instagram a lot, but this will probably be on there if I bother to upload. Go to wearecontramundum.com as well. Pick out a t-shirt. That'll be lovely. And follow all of our stuff on Clear Truth Media. And if you're on YouTube, next video.